Welcome to the Four Wide Podcast. This is our test recording. We are online. We are recording right now. It's myself, Will, Shed, and Olu here again. And we are going to discuss what went down in our Dynasty League. Of course, the Dynasty League is very active. People do a lot of different things, adding, dropping, but trading is always the most exciting. We always get excited when we see trade offers come our ways, mostly from Will. They're usually trash. But today
Trash
we got to
offers.
see, but
Trash
today
offers.
I co-sign on that. Correct.
we got to see the rare trade accepted in the league. And it was by Danny McDougal, one of the high scorers in the league. He moved Deshaun Watson and Cooper Kupp, along with some second-round picks for 2 first-round picks. And in return, he also got Cam Akers and Chris Godwin. Guys, talk about it. What do you guys think?
I think this is a classic example of Mitch being desperate to win. He has never won this league, consistently scores in the higher end of the players, but he's sacrificing future picks, assets for a receiver who is injured with a hamstring injury that tends to linger, and Deshaun Watson, who may never become again the Deshaun Watson we knew from 2018 through 2020 on the Houston Texans. I think he's going to regret this trade by 2 years from now when he has no draft picks.
You know, I was looking at I was looking at Mitch's team. I don't think he has drafted anybody on his roster. I think
No.
he has legitimately traded for every asset he has. So, and it hasn't really worked for him yet. He has not won a
He is
dime.
trying to employ the LA Rams model that did win them a Super Bowl 2 years ago, but that was a miraculous run, and now they're hamstrung for the next 5 years because of those moves.
I remember Sean McVay was wearing that shirt. Forget them picks or something like that. What do you guys think? Shed.
I think that's a quite interesting strategy for someone who makes fun of other people's draft picks. I think it's a reach for sure. It's a reach. Deshaun
How
Watson
so?
doesn't. Huh?
How so?
Because Deshaun Watson doesn't quite move the needle. He could have stuck with the quarterbacks he had and still get the same value. And Cooper Cup is hurt. He's starting the league hurt, and he has a hamstring injury. A hamstring injury lingers throughout the year. And Cooper Cup is not known to be a fantasy darling, except for 2 years ago, or was it? Yeah, 2 years ago, where he got the triple crown. But for the most part, he's never known to be a fantasy darling. So I think that was quite a rich. Thinking Cooper Cup might somehow go back in time 2 years from now and get a triple crown again. You know what I mean? So and
Yes.
giving up 2 first round, going after Deshaun Watson, who we don't know what he's gonna be. I do expect Deshaun Watson to get back in form, but that doesn't quite move the needle. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I mean, like Deshaun Watson, prior to him being Deshaun Watson, was a arguably top 5 fantasy quarterback. I think he was like for 2 years in a row he was number 5, and really when he was in Houston, his only weapon was DeAndre Hopkins and a Will Fuller who couldn't stay healthy for more than 6 games. I mean, one would argue that right now he probably has the greatest set of skill players he's ever played with
Okay.
Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku. So I think the stage is set for him to have a good season. However, obviously we don't know
Don't
who he is
know.
at this point. And Cooper Kupp, you're right about that because Cooper Kupp, there's not a good history of wide receivers pulling hamstrings in training camp and then having great
Yes.
seasons.
Yes.
Right.
I think the data has the history shows that when a receiver pulls their hamstring in training camp, it does linger.
Lingers,
Let alone
yes.
the guy is 31 years old now.
Yes. And
He's
mind
30 years old. So I'll say I'll hop in here. So I'll say I'm gonna take a different angle. I'm gonna say it's a pretty equal trade, and here's why. Because prior to the injury with Cooper Kupp, I think that recently happened. I would say though that Deshaun Watson could go for a first, Cooper Kupp could go for a first, and then you have Godwin and Akers, and both of those are relatively second round picks. Mitch also got a third round pick on top of that as well too. So I would say the trade was actually relatively equal when it comes to at the end of the day. But I'm actually a fan of Cooper Kupp because I mean, even though the Rams offense is not going to be good, but they're going to feed Kupp. Like when Kupp was in there
They'll
during that
force feed him
year.
if he's healthy.
Yes. So Kupp is going to get stats. Kupp
It is
is
a
going to
big
get
if.
stats. Yeah, that is a big if. But assuming Kupp is healthy, even for a couple of games, he was giving you 35 points a game for a wide receiver. So Kupp is legit. Now I don't think, to your point, he won't have the same season he had 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Which is an anomaly for him.
Yes, I agree. But even if Cooper Kupp gives you 25 points a game, 23 points a game, like Mitch or Danny, Mitch is in it right now to win. And it's not like he just gave us up for first round picks. He got second round picks back, 2 seconds in the third. So, I mean, he's in it now to win. He doesn't have first in a future draft picks, but he has, I think next year he has, 2025, he has 2 firsts or 2 seconds and 3 thirds. So he's loaded up, in the future.
I think something we should think about is this is not a redraft; it's a dynasty league. So if you're getting a 31-year-old receiver who doesn't always have major numbers most years, and you get him giving up a first round pick, that for the future that spells disaster.
Right. You're putting all your chips in the middle of the table for 1 year.
I agree.
So it's championship or bust. If he does not win it all this year, this trade was an epic failure.
Let's not neglect this fact, though. Hold on. To what Shed was saying, though, we can't neglect the fact that prior to injury last year, Cooper Kupp was the wide receiver one. His numbers were better than Justin Jefferson's prior to injury.
Last year
before he got hurt.
Prior to injury, his numbers were better than Justin Jefferson.
Yes, I agree. And also, it's not like if Cooper Kupp doesn't work out, it's a bust for Mitch. Mitch, again, has second and third round. Now, he doesn't have a first round pick in the next 2 years, but he has a couple of seconds, couple of thirds, so he can still build. Now, the thing is that Mitch has to be able to hit on those second round picks. And I don't think Mitch is a drafting guy. That's why he trades a pick in order to get players. So maybe he'll use that in the future in order to either move back in the first round.
I do want to say this too, though, to Olu's point. Cooper Kupp, prior to his Triple Crown year, 2020, he had 92 catches, 974 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Exactly.
2019, 94 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good year.
He wasn't irrelevant. I would say he was a wide receiver one, a low wide receiver one, because the guy was getting 130 targets a season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
before Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Right.
That was with Jared Goff.
Three of the first games last year, Cooper Kupp had 36, 37, 35. 3 of the first 4 games last year. So he's relevant.
Okay, so a good point to that is, all right, if you look at 2018 campaign, right? I remember Cooper Kupp. I don't know the numbers. He was having a phenomenal year. He and Robert Woods, but he got hurt. Last year, he was having a phenomenal year. He got hurt. So many times we've seen Cooper Kupp never finish out his campaign because he always get hurt. 2021, he did not get hurt. That's not the norm for him. That's an anomaly.
And this year, he's starting the year hurt and has already had setbacks.
Exactly.
Trying to recover.
Yes, he can start off with great numbers, but he never finishes out. Only one time he did.
He's had to see a hamstring specialist before week 1 even rolls around.
That is questioning. So you guys are questioning his talent, Holu. You're not questioning his talent.
No. Absolutely. No. He's a baller. Like he's amazing. It's the endurance. It's the endurance factor. That's it.
Yeah, the health. All right.
Well, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. 2021, he played all 17 games. 2020, he played 15. 2019, he played 16. 2018, he played 8. And 2017, he played 15.
Okay.
So
he tore his ACL 2018, right?
2018.
That's why he missed those games.
But then he came back in 2019 and had played 16 games.
He started 14. He played 16. He started 14. Why is that?
For which season?
2019.
Okay, even if he only started 14 games, he still had 94 catches.
He played a complete season. coming off the
Okay.
ACL.
Yes.
He really only had
He's
one
not
major
as
injury.
injury prone as his reputation would make it sound. But
Look, so prior to injury, Kupp had 98 targets in 9 games. All right. A year previous before that in 2021, he had 191 in all 17 games. So he was on pace to have the same amount of targets in 2021 as in 2022. So like he was still pacing very well. So when Kupp is out there, even if he's out there for half the season, I mean, I think that Mitch can use him and he can be very productive. Now, to your point, it is Dynasty, right? But
Right.
if he's out there at the right time, that can be a couple wins for Mitch.
I think the argument comes down to who would you rather, Cooper Kupp or Chris Godwin and Cam Akers?
Chris Godwin, hands down.
no, Cooper
No.
Kupp by a mile.
No,
I just think
man.
he gave up.
Godwin had
He
nobody
gave
throwing
up
to
a
him.
lot.
Wow.
That's ultimately what it comes down to. Is it would you rather Cooper Kupp or the combination of Chris Godwin and Cam Akers?
Okay, why would you take Cooper Kupp over Godwin? Like, I would love to hear that.
Because he's performed better than Godwin every single year.
He's a better player than Godwin. Godwin's good
Yeah.
year came on. He had that last year with Jameis, and then when Brady came around, right? Those were the only 2 years. And then after that, he got hurt.
But Godwin has to score touchdowns to boost his numbers. He's not going to get it just from receptions and yards.
Okay. I would say this, right? Number one, we know about Jameis. So he's never had a good quarterback. So there's Jameis and Cooper had Goff and what's his name? Goff and Stafford. Godwin had Brady and he did well. And Brady's second year, he got hurt. Okay. And then his third year, he was coming from an ACL injury. So you don't expect to be back to form. So currently, he is back to form. And another thing to think about, Mike Evans has a contract issue currently. And there's rumors he might be traded.
That's after the season, though.
Huh?
That's
after this season, probably.
Right.
But you have Baker Mayfield, who ruined OBJ for 3 years.
Okay.
He wasted OBJ.
I'm not gonna go there because you don't want to get me started on that.
All right, this is a good test run. We can probably call it here. It's getting late.
Yeah, right, let me stop it.